everybody. It is Tuesday night, November 8th. It's a big night in the US. If you're not out voting, you should be watching this show. Right? I'm
Yes.
so excited that you are here, Rhode. This is a huge deal. So first of all, thank you so much for doing this. We've been having conversations before this started, so we'll try to catch y'all up. But I definitely just want to say a huge shout out and thank you for doing this. And, we're going to get into all and everything around, your incredible organization. I'm going to touch on the award winning. I'm so just proud of everything that you're doing, but I just want to catch people up a little bit about kind of where we are. So we met, just so everyone knows, and by the way, please love, like, share, and do all the stuff you're supposed to do on social media. Don't make me chase y'all. But we met months ago, and I think one of the things to me that stood out really quickly was your passion for students. So I wanted to just, really briefly have you introduce yourself, and then we're going to go into K12. For those of y'all who are watching the replay, I will drop the link to her school so that you can find out more. And obviously, if you need to contact Rhode, we can find her on LinkedIn. I'll make sure you have that as well. So just give her a quick introduction of who you are and your organization, and welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Shelly, for having me on your show. And like you said, like we've been talking months ago, and every time we talk, it's always a great conversation. And thank you to your listeners who follows you. Thank you for following her, because she's changing the world with what she is doing, and I think that she's a godsend. So please do follow, share, like, retweet, Twitch. I don't know what they do these days.
Gram it, whatever, stamp it.
Yeah, whatever you need to do.
Do what you do.
Like put it on a t-shirt, to show your support. But my name is Rhode Malivert, and I am the owner and principal of K12 Preparatory Academy. We're an online K12 school that our main purpose is to serve the at-risk communities and also students that are international and their parents. So I know we'll go into more details in what we do.
Yeah.
So basically, in a nutshell, that's me. I have a background in chemical engineering. I worked in corporate for over 15 years, and then after that, I decided to pursue my passion in education, in K12 education. And I also have my master's from Rutgers. So are you? Yeah. So I got my master's from there. So I started K12 Prep 2019, and I never looked back.
I love that. I think one of the things that really compels me about your journey, first of all, your background, the fact that you came in from, first of all, an engineer of your stature is already like incredibly impressive. And a lot of us, even as parents, and a lot of us who's been around for a long time, we understand kind of the power that brings. So to be in that kind of position, to have that kind of education, and then shift to say, well, I'm going to leave this field and I'm going to go here. But what, and he touched on your passion, and obviously there's your passion behind it, but how did you even know that this is what you should be doing versus where you were? How did you make that shift?
Well, so to give you a little background additionally about me, I don't know if any of you guys can tell, but I have an accent. So I'm not originally from the US. I am Haitian. So when I came to the US, I was 12, and education was instilled in us, like the value of education. And one of the things that I noticed when I was growing up through the education system here is the lack of assistance for at-risk communities, such as the communities that I came from, which, we don't live in a very nice, affluent neighborhood, and we didn't go to the nicest school or anything like that. So education was a way for us to elevate ourselves in society, right? It's the way for you to get yourself out of poverty. So that's what is taught to us from the islands, right? Is in order for you to lift yourself and to lift your family out of poverty, getting a quality education is the way to go. So that's the route I took. And I always had a passion to help people. And that's the reason why I did chemical engineering. And mainly I went and worked in pharma. I worked for Johnson & Johnson for a little bit. And then I went to food, transitioned over to food. So a lot of the food that people are eating these days, like I had a hand in there in the processes that took place to manufacture those foods. For them to come to the store and then go to your house for you to feed your child or to feed yourself. So although I was doing those things, I still felt unfulfilled, right? And I met my mentor who got me into the education system. She herself owns a school. And I was talking to her about, my purpose and what I want to do, how I want to help people. And that's how she was like, why don't you do education? I was like, well, starting a business, I'm not I got my MBA, but I'm not an entrepreneur. I think it's something that you're born with. You can't be one. So at least that's what I thought. And she's like, you have the passion and you want to help people, then do it. So then I took the risk and started K12 Prep. And at first I started to focus on adult learners, to provide adults a way to earn their high school diplomas. So in our program, adults can earn their high school diplomas in as little as 3 months. And we have graduated adults in as little as 2 weeks with their high school diplomas if they transfer credits from their old high school. And it's an accredited high school diploma that they're earning, so they can use that to attend college. And over my tenure of starting since 2019, I've graduated over 800 adult students. And that's not just in the US, that's worldwide. We have adult students in Haiti, Dominican Republic, South Africa, Jamaica, Canada, and they're attending school. And I think what keeps me going is when they call me back, and they're like, oh, Mr. Rose, I can't believe, what you did for me and my family. My husband is now going to school. He's going to be an accountant, and it's all because of you. And that gives me the pride to like, okay, I'm helping people. I'm changing people's lives. Like, because imagine like an adult, like someone who's an adult, they're working 2 jobs. They don't have time to spend with their kids, right?
Yeah.
And they don't live in a very nice neighborhood. So if you don't live in a nice neighborhood, your child is not going to go to a very nice school. So they're not going to go to a very nice school. That means their network is not going to be very nice. And they're not going to be able to elevate in society to get the connections that they need to continue. So, but if you make more money, you can move to a better neighborhood, have a better school district. Your child learns better. They interact with kids that are affluent, and then they build network that way. Because in society, it's all about who you know. It's not about what you know up here. It's all about who you are connected to. So that's the way that I felt like, I'm living my purpose. Like I can honestly say that I feel like I am living my purpose. And I know there's not a lot of people who have this joy. And I thank God that He gave me this opportunity in my life, and to be able to live as long as I live. I hope that, I live for a very long time, that I am actually walking in my purpose and changing people's lives, whether they're adult learners or they are younger kids. I know we'll go into what we offered for the K12 later, but the adult learners are, who I started with, and then I transitioned over to the K12, and then now we do adult and K12.
I think the one thing I wanted to call out, especially with passion. So this comes up a lot. There's a running theme in these lives. It doesn't matter who I talk to, but regardless of how much passion you have, people see the end result and they don't understand the journey. So I always try to say, hold on, you know, it's not that, this isn't easy, y'all. Don't go out and think you can start a school tomorrow, okay? There's a lot that goes into building an organization and delivering to her clients and customers, adults and teens consistently. And we'll get into being accredited and all that. So I just want to pause, like, she's on here because she's doing some things, y'all. This is not, don't think you can go in and be Rhode. You can't.
No. There's only one.
There's only one. There's only one. So let's not, you know, don't get it twisted, okay? So that's the first. The other thing is, like, there's a certain level of obedience that comes when you have that passion, because you could have just said, yeah, if it seems like it's a good thing to do, and you could have walked away, but you decided that you wanted to pivot and really follow through. And the other thing I think is that your focus is making other people's lives better. And when that's your focus, it's not the money comes, it really does, right?
Mind you, I took a salary cut. I took a salary cut because, I mean, in corporate, homegirl was getting paid in corporate, you know?
Well, yeah, hello, engineer.
Yeah. So, you know, but, you know, it was like one of those things that, you know, I wanted to make a difference. And I think that it adds value to your life when you feel like you're changing other people's lives, that you're not just living for yourself, you're living for others. So it makes it purposeful, and it makes it worth living and to continue. If that makes
so now
sense.
That definitely makes sense. So now let's shift to the teens. Okay, I dropped a link and I have my cheat notes because I am not about to mess this up. So I want to talk about Cognia and what does that mean, and what does it mean to your school? Can we talk about that?
Yes. So Cognia, formerly known as SACS, they're the world's largest accreditation body. They are recognized by the Department of Education in the US. So any school that owns this accreditation can graduate any students anywhere in the world, and their diploma will be recognized anywhere in the world. So we have students that are in Spain that are getting their high school diplomas, and they're using their high school diplomas to attend university in Spain or in France, or they can apply to a school in the US. So it gives students and parents the flexibility that they wouldn't get otherwise if they were to just go to their regular schools. Like, we have school partners that are overseas and they're doing dual diplomas with us.
Wow.
Where the students are getting diplomas from the home country, but then they're also getting an American high school diploma from us if they want to go outside of their home country. So if they want to go outside of their home country, they can use our diploma, and then just and obviously we give them a transcript. And the transcript they can apply to any college or university that they want to go to. In addition to that, we offer AP honors courses as well, and that's offered to any students anywhere in the world. We also offer NCAA approved courses that any student athletes anywhere in the world, they can use it. Now, the cool thing about our NCAA program is, let's say you have a student who's an inspired American football player, right? Or they want to play basketball, and they want to play basketball in the US. The Division I and Division II schools in the US, what they're looking for NCAA approved courses. So international students, it's very difficult for them to meet those standards. So it's hard for them to get into a school under a scholarship without having those NCAA approved courses.
Okay.
Us, we offer that to them online. So while they're in their home country, They take those classes online. In addition to that, we have a company that we work with that does recruiting for those schools. So that company then connects those kids to the colleges and universities in the US to help them get visas. So for example, we had five girls in Haiti. And they were soccer players, and they got their high school diploma, and they also went through the NCAA program. That company was able to get them 5-year student visa to play in the US free, tuition free.
What?
So within 3 months. So if an international student wants to come here to play sports, our NCAA program is probably the best you can do.
Yeah.
Or if you have a student here as well, because we have students that are here that are NCAA, like let's say they are Olympians, Olympian aspired students, or they do competitive sporting like cheerleading or track or whatever, they can join our NCAA program, which then gives them the flexibility to make their own schedule. So with our classes, the classes are available 24/7. So our students have the freedom to make their own schedule, which gives them that flexibility where they can meet their practice schedules, and they can still maintain their academics, because we ensure that they maintain their academic grades so that when they're done, they can then apply to those schools to get scholarships, or to also get in as a sports athlete in those schools. So we don't just help them become better athletes by giving them the flexibility to make their own schedule, but we also help them from the academic standpoint to make sure that they're maintaining the grades that they need, so that NCAA Division I, Division II school is able to reach them.
That is my brain is on like this, because I'm thinking about, I'm Jamaican, y'all. So I'm thinking selfishly about my home country. I'm sure we're going to do Haitian
Proud. Students from your country too, yay!
Okay, so I'm thinking about all the students who can get access to this coursework, regardless of where you are in the world. The fact that you are is not just, and it's not just, y'all, please go and check out the site, because it's not just about what I call base level learning, where it's just a set of coursework. There's an actual community. There's a sense of community that you get with K12. So I want to touch a little bit on maybe the student experience. What does that look like? And also maybe some of the cool things that are coming up on some of the coursework that you're offering coming out this year.
Yeah, sure. So like as a student of K12, your experience is going to be different from your normal school. First of all, you have the flexibility to make your own schedule, okay? So when you come in as a new student with us, we do the orientation with you, we walk you through the system, and we make sure that that you understand how to contact your teachers, technical support, and you have instant access on your phone to your teacher. So you can download the app and then instantly message your teacher, and the teacher will respond to you right away, your questions. So it's more of a one-on-one session that we do with each student. So that's what parents love about our program, is the fact that the students are helped individually. We don't just have a group of students. The teacher works with the student individually. The same thing, we have our counselors. They check on our students twice a month. We have our college and career planning coach. We check on those students on a weekly basis. So the students are checked upon every week. So we check on them every week to make sure that they are okay mentally, that they are okay with their classes, or if they need assistance with tutoring, what are their plans, like what did they do this week, stuff like that. So we check on them on a weekly basis. And also the parents themselves, they are giving access. Like when a student comes into our school, the parent also have a parent ID. So they're able to log in to monitor how their child is doing. And we also send them a monthly report on how the child is doing, like their attendance, how their grade is going. And we also call the parents on a monthly basis just to make sure that everything is on the up and up, that we're providing the right services that they need, that if there's any additional things that they want for us to offer, like every month we make updates. Every week we make updates because we check on the student every week. So if the child has a problem this week on something, it is solved right away. It's not something that we let linger. In addition to that, if a student is struggling, we're able to catch that early. So a lot of our students, they don't get to the level where they're failing their classes and they're at risk of not getting promoted to the next grade, because we have all of those checks and balances. Because you have the counselor who's checking on the student, you have the career coaches checking on the student. So it's like we know how the student is doing every week. And if there's a problem, we already fixed it before it becomes a problem. So we're very hands-on, and we operate on our model at our school is it takes a village to raise a child. So we operate in that manner, including the child in the conversation to know that they can take control of their future. So whatever decisions that we make, we don't make it with just the parent. We also make it with the involvement of the child, if the child is at an age where they can understand, obviously. But
I love that.
We're very hands-on with our kids.
There's a high level of accountability that I'm getting from not just from the student, but also from the teacher, from the counselor, everybody. It is all hands on deck. And I have to tell you that, my daughter is in a public school system, and it's a very, very good school. It's top 10 where we are, but she doesn't get this level of attention at all.
So we're very hands-on, with our students, and the students, they love that. They love that level of care that we show for them, because we don't just care for them from a grade standpoint. We also care for them from like a mental standpoint, right? I know we'll talk about that later. How we're doing that. But we also care about those things. Like we also care about their future. So they know that, that they're heard, and that we put the right things in place for them to ensure their success. So we're not just telling them go and be successful. We're giving them the tools that they need to achieve that.
So let's go ahead and talk about mental health as we're mentioning that, because that is obviously something that is dear to my heart. LCM Group was started based on that. It was a response to my own daughter. So what's my P.I.E, being proud, inspired, empowered. That's literally, it came from there. I was trying to find language to help her, and then it blossomed into teens, and it blossomed to young adults, and now it's blossomed into veterans, and that's the group I work with. When you're working with your students, what are some of the things that you're seeing from a mental health perspective, and then what are some of the things that you have in place through your organization to help your students?
Yeah, so a good amount of our students, what we do when the student first comes into our program, we do a survey and ask them, why are you taking online courses? And a lot of the answers are bullying. I don't feel safe in school, or it's, it's some other, whether it's like, I want to work faster. Like we've graduated kids at 16 in our program, by the way. So kids can work as fast as they want. And, some kids, they don't want to go to school. So they want to just be done with it.
Done with it, yeah.
Yeah. So, if you can work fast, go ahead. Like you can do 2 grades in 1 year if you want. So, and we have kids who have done that. So, to address the mental health aspect of it, we partnered with University of Miami School of Medicine. And they did a tremendous research from grade 4 all the way to adults that are in college age, for mental health, to create this platform, the social emotional learning platform. So we offer that on our platform. So our students, they can access this SEL platform. It's kind of like a Siri or an Alexa. So it's an AI. So it's continuous learning, right? So every day the student interacts with this AI on the platform, and then the AI is able to gauge on how the student is mentally and emotionally. And based on that, it's able to give the student suggestions on what to do. And also the cool thing about it is, let's say if a student is suffering from depression, right? The AI will show them videos of other students their age that went through the same process, that went through that same journey of being depressed, and how they overcame that. Or if they were being bullied, how they overcame that fear of loneliness and how they overcame that. So it's very, very tailored, and it's very it's tailored to each individual student, because the AI is basically learning as, it's like machine learning. So it's learning as the student give it more information, and the more information the student gives it, the better it is. So a lot of the parents, they use this. So for some of our students who have their own medical diagnosis, and they have their own doctor that they work with, the doctors are using the reports from us to help with communication with the child. So it's because it's very, very tailored, and it's so helpful. Like a lot of the kids, like they've shown improvement, like of I think 48% improvement in depression, mental health depression, in an amount of 8 weeks. So within 8 weeks, they show improvement in their depression, or if whatever stigma that they're suffering, they show improvement within 2 weeks or 10 days. So a lot of the parents and a lot of the kids who are using the SEL, they love it, and it's something that is a godsend right now, because kids are suffering, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like the pandemic affected us adults, it affected them too. And I think that the education system has forgotten the kids' mental health, and how we can cope and help them to move forward past that. And in addition to that, they're dealing with bullying at school, and then school safety. So it's like a lot is coming all at once. So we need to do something better in us. That's why we decided to do something like the SEL, to offer it. And actually schools can use our SEL program. They can license our SEL program.
So a local school can license it from you?
Yep, they can license it from us and use it in their classrooms, because it can be used in classrooms or individual. So so it's not something that is just for us. We just want to help as many kids as we possibly can, right? And before something bad happens. Because there's too many of that.
And I love it. So I want to make sure, like, I put a pin on this point for any teachers, especially because we're stressed on Facebook. I don't know how many people come in because there's multiple streams. And okay, so if you're on Facebook, I know there's a lot of teachers and administrators on Facebook. Just listen for this, y'all, because you have access.
You can bring our SEL. Yep, you can bring our SEL program
to your school
with your students. So if you're a guidance counselor, and it's I understand, like, our teachers and our counselors, our staff, that are working, they are overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's just, and they're not giving the right tools to really help those kids. Because like you can't have like a one guidance counselor for 200 students.
Right.
That's not fair, you know. So you know, you're gonna have one that falls through the crack, or a few that falls through the crack. So, you know, we're here to help, you know, and you can bring our SEL program. If you're a counselor, you can use the SEL program, our SEL program, to help you with your kids, because it's something that they do, and then you can meet with them, and then you can see it, you can look at it, and if a student is, you know, is gearing towards, you know, being in the red, which is you know, bad, you will know, because the system will tell you that this student is showing signs of suicide, or showing signs of, you know, of depression. We need to intervene. So it's a very, very helpful, very tailored system, and I can't stress it enough. We need that. We need it.
Yeah, we absolutely need that. And I think, again, this is what makes this is part of what makes your school different to a lot of organizations that are basically, you know, that are selling right online. They're selling education, but there's no this level of care and accountability, and just a genuine care for the student, right? You know, making sure that the student experience is kind of it's number one. So again, I told y'all, don't try to do this at home. This we're talking award-winning work here, but it is a global school. I obviously want to call out international students. You know, I'm dropping all the tips in the chat, so y'all, you know, please make sure you follow up. And I absolutely. So I'm watching the time. We usually go about 40 minutes, and we have about 8 minutes. I want to ask you about virtual reality, because I have never seen this, and I've been researching.
Yeah.
What is this virtual reality solution product? Like, what is this? What is this thing?
Okay. So VR in the metaverse has shown in scientific studies have shown that students' retention of learning materials improved by 98% when compared to either virtual learning or traditional learning. 98% retention when they learn in VR. So imagine putting on, you know, your MetaQuest VR glasses, and then you get into a virtual world where you can open up the human heart, and then you can see all of the ventricles. You can see how the human heart is beating, how the blood flows from one ventricle to the next. Like it's something that is beyond, where you are basically experiencing the class. You're not just learning about it, you're experiencing. Like a student in Florida can visit the National African American Museum, African American History Museum in DC in VR glasses. So they put on their VR glasses and they get into this metaverse, and then they are in DC. They are interacting inside, walking through, and then there's a curator telling them this is what this is. And if they touch it, they can touch it, you know, lift it up, they can hold it. And then a curator tell them, okay, this is a tool that was used for this, you know, in whatever year. And a student can get on board a slave ship and take the journey to the Americas from Africa and experience what the slaves experienced when they were on board the ships. Wow. That's something that is different. They can be standing next to Martin Luther King and watch him give a speech or talk. It's education that is done in a different way. Like we want to revolutionize the world of education, and that's what we're doing with VR, and that's what we're doing in the metaverse. We have a metaverse campus, and we have classes that we offer: human anatomy, African American history, world history, US history, are in VR, and and we're working on other classes to offer in VR. So a lot of students that are taking the VR classes now, they love it. And it's because it's a different way of learning, and and you're basically experiencing. So you're not really feeling that you're learning, because you're really interacting, and you can hear other students, because now you're able to interact with your other students as an avatar. So all the kids are avatars.
Right. So the community.
Avatar. Yeah. So they literally, like, if they're taking, let's say, anatomy, and the teacher calls up, Rhode, come up to the front of the classroom, and I want you to touch the femur. If I don't know where the femur is, I can hear my other classmates telling me where the femur is.
Wow.
So it's learning in a different way, very different way. And we post a lot of a lot of the classes, the VR, like some of the clips, on our social media pages. Yeah.
I've been seeing. I stalk your school because I'm like, I can't believe there's all this stuff. So I definitely want to make sure that I do that shout out. Please go ahead and check out all the social media pages. Again, we're dropping the links to the academy. So we're down to about 4 minutes. I want to switch to some personal questions, because like this to me is the work that you're doing is so gratifying. You're helping. I don't even know if you're keeping track of the numbers, but really thousands of people, kids, their families, students, are making courses accessible globally. Everything that you're doing to me is humbling work, and it's humbling to be in your presence. I am a super fan. I'm not really ashamed to say it. I am a huge fan.
I'm a super fan of you, so we're both super fans of each other.
So we're fanning y'all. This is so great. What advice would you have for parents who might be looking to select, your school, or what advice do you have for parents?
I would say, like, if you're a parent and you feel like your child is not getting the proper education that they need for them to be successful, K12 is K12 Prep Academy is the solution. If you are a parent who has a child because we have some students that are magnet school students, and so they're very smart, and and sometimes, even though they go to a private school, brick and mortar school, the brick and mortar school is still putting a lid on that child. Yeah. Limiting them in what they can do, right? Like, no, you still have to keep up with the class. You still have to stay with the class. You can't work ahead of the class. And the child is like, I already know this stuff. I'm bored, Mom. Come to us. Trust me, we will challenge them. And the other thing too, if you, unfortunately, I have to say that, but if you are a parent of a child who's being bullied and who has a fear of going to school and who's not liking school at all, and you feel like you can't really get what you need from the school as far as like helping them to feel better, to feel safer at school, K12 Prep is the school for you, because we, like I said, we are very tailored to each individual child, to each of their needs. So we make sure that the child is happy, because at the end of the day, a happy child learns best.
Oh, I love that. Happy child learns best. I absolutely love that. What do you want to be remembered for?
I would say I want to be remembered for changing as many people's lives as possible, because I think I've always loved to serve, even when I was little, and I still do. The name Rhode, actually, if you look it up in the Bible, I was a servant. So my mom always said that it's so weird that, I embodied the person that she named me after, even centuries later. So, I want to be remembered for helping people. And I think that's the way, like, I remember my mom asked me, how can you live forever? She said something like that. How can you live forever? And I said, you can live forever. And she's like, how?
Yeah.
By helping people. because the more people you help, they keep helping others forward, and they keep remembering you. They said, remember this person, they did something for me, they said something to me that changed my life, and I will never forget it. And even if the person is in their old age, they will tell it to their grandkids, and that's the way your legacy remains. And that's what I want to be remembered for.
Wow, that is so, I'm trying not to fog up my glasses and cry out. That is so incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. Again, I could just kind of go on and just gush. And I definitely want to check back in next year to see where you are in the program and any changes. And if there's anything we can do as an organization to help, I'm going to be loving, liking, sharing, stalking.
Thank you.
That's what
I
do.
anything you can do to get the word out, I'm okay. The more people that know about us, the better it is. And I'm sure you'll put our number. Our number in our website is K12PrepAcademy.com, and our number is 800-218-5709. So you can reach us and talk to us, and then we basically will find out what is the best way to teach your child. Or if you're an adult looking to get your high school diploma, we will also be able to assist you as well.
That's a good call out, is that, if you're I call them non-traditional student, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, if you're a non-traditional student, this is also a good fit for you too. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm only talking about teens, because that's not the case. So non-traditional students, adults, teens, basically everybody. And
everyone.
Global, right?
Yes.
And global. So that's the other thing is, regardless, anyone from anywhere, this is what accessibility looks like. Education is the one thing that people can't take from you. So this is what accessibility looks like. So please make sure that you're connecting with K12PrepAcademy.com. Rhode, we're going to tell these people deuces, but we're going to hang out in the back room for the after party.
Yes.
Thank you much for doing this.
Thank you, Shelly. Thank you so much. I had such a great time, and what you're doing is amazing. And I know that you will continue to change people's lives, and I can see something great for what you're doing.
Thank you so much. I am honored, my friend. All right, hold on a second. If I get this right, I'm gonna run the outro, and then we're gonna hang out in the back. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Talk to us in the replay, y'all. Bye.
Bye.